Hello, everyone, and welcome to this webinar organized by Doxity in partnership with Columbus State University. My name is Carolina. Nice to meet you all. And I'll be your host for today's event on behalf of Doxity. I see here that the first people are already starting to join in. We are going to wait just a few minutes before starting to allow everyone to connect. In the meantime, feel free to say hi on our chat here in Zoom, and please tell us where you're from, since we are very curious. First of all, I want to thank everyone for joining us and thank our panelists for being here with us today. I want to introduce you all to Eric Spears, Professor and Executive Director, and Christine Shaw, International Students and Scholar Services Coordinator, and Laurie Aiken, Student Recruitment and Engagement Specialist at Synovus Center for Commerce. Welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here. Together with them, we are going to discover the top-notch academic programs and exceptional campus life at Columbus State University in Georgia. You'll also have the possibility to interact with our speakers and ask them questions. And talking about that, I'd like to remind you that after the presentation, we will have a Q&A session where you'll be able to ask direct questions to the panelists. So don't be shy and just type all of your questions in the Q&A section here in Zoom at the bottom of the page, and we'll go through them at the end of the webinar. Also, for those of you interested in receiving a certificate of attendance by Doxity for this free masterclass, stay tuned because we will post a link to get the certificate at the end of the session. So I think that we are able to start now. Welcome to those who just joined us. And without further ado, I'm now leaving the floor to our panelists for their presentation. Thank you so much and enjoy. See you later.
Thank you, Carolina. Good afternoon from the American state of Georgia. My name is Eric Spears, and it's really great that you've joined us. And our goal today is to discuss both technology and business study opportunities at Columbus State University. Before we get into those specific programs, I want to give each one of you an overview of our university, just to give you some context with where we are and the kinds of things that happen in college life here at Columbus State University. So I'm going to share my screen. Bear with me for just a second. And should work. Can everyone see the screen? Oh, okay. All right. So Columbus State University is a public university that is part of the University System of Georgia, which is a system of a collected 26 universities and colleges. We're in the same system and have the same levels of accreditation as other larger universities that you may have heard of, such as Georgia Tech or University of Georgia. But what makes us different is that we are not too big and we're not too small. We are, as the story says, the Goldilocks, spot, just right. And I think you'll find that to be true with us as well. Here's just an image of our College of Arts, which is on the riverfront here in downtown Columbus. Just to recap, and so you can get a face again of who is presenting besides myself, Eric Spears. Later, we'll have Laurie Aiken, who is from the Turner College of Business and Technology, talk to you about their study opportunities. And then once he's out of class, Dr. John Finley will come in. He is Department Chair of Marketing and Management. And then finally, Ms. Christine Shaw from the Center for Global Engagement, who manages international admissions, will walk through the admissions process and things like the I-20 for the F1 visa. So we are just a short drive really from the largest city in Georgia, which is Atlanta. It's an international destination. It's a global city. It's home to more than a dozen Fortune 500 companies, the world's busiest and largest airport. So there are direct flights from all over the world straight into Atlanta. And then it's just a short 90-minute drive from the airport to our campus. We are a smaller city of a metro population of around 329,000. We are classified as the second largest city in Georgia. And what we're really known for is a city of arts, music, and outdoor adventure, in addition to industries in technology, banking and finance, healthcare, and automotive manufacturing. We have a Kia factory here in our metro area. Obviously, we're home to Columbus State University, which is located here on the American map. And as a geography professor, I have to ensure that a map is represented because I want to give you some context with where we are in the United States, which is a very large continental-sized country. There you see ATL, which is Atlanta, the airport code. So we're just close to that. We're within a 6-hour drive of Orlando, Florida. Most of our international students like to drive down on spring breaks or winter breaks. They go to Disney World, Universal, and all of those great places that Orlando has to offer. Or sometimes they drive on down or take a short flight over to Miami for winter sun on their winter breaks. But we're also within a 2-hour flight of New York City, an hour-and-a-half flight of Washington, D.C., and an hour-and-a-half flight to Chicago. So if you don't come straight into Atlanta, the connections to us are pretty easy. And because Atlanta is such a busy airport, there are 14, 15 daily flights to DC, New York, and Chicago every single day. So realistically, you're in the American South, but especially the Eastern United States is really your backyard. I mentioned that we are a place of outdoor adventure. Even though we're in an urban environment, we are classified as the world's largest and longest urban whitewater rafting location. So if you like outdoor adventure, you can have urban life, but you can also go whitewater rafting. And in fact, Columbus, Georgia is home to world championships of rafting and kayaking if you're into those water sports. And we always have an annual world championship here where multiple countries are represented. Just as a profile, Columbus State has approximately 8,000 students, and we have 90 undergraduate and graduate degree program options. We have nationally recognized programs in the arts, education, business, nursing, computer science, and robotics. We have high levels of accreditation, and you see our accreditation stamps logos here. We are fully accredited by the Southern Commission on Colleges, the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools, which means that if you go to Georgia Tech or if you come to Columbus State, we are of the same accreditation stature, which means we meet the same standards as any of those other universities. In addition to that, we are AACSB accredited, which is the highest level of business accreditation that any university can have. And our business college has been at international leadership with this association. So I can assure you that we've had our own faculty become vice presidents and leaders in this accreditation field. So what happens internationally happens locally within our business school. Recently, for 2024, we were listed as the number 30 top public school or university and number 36 in affordability. So not only are you getting the highest levels of academic merit, but you're also getting a great affordability within that. And I think as international students, those two things matter, especially if you're coming from countries where currency exchanges matter in terms of the dollar versus your local currency. So I just say all of that to say that we meet I think all the benchmarks for our international students. We have 160 international students from over 40 countries at our university. So you find a great level of diversity at the international level as well. We have 4 faculties or colleges, starting with the Turner College of Business and Technology, our focus today. But we also have a College of Letters and Sciences for anything in the humanities, social sciences, or hard and physical sciences, whether that's biology, chemistry, geology, or environmental science. We have a well-known College of the Arts, which includes the Schwob Music School, which is a conservatory environment. But we also have the Fine Arts, Digital Media, and Communications. We have also a very well-structured College of Education and Health Professions, which includes public health and nursing, as well as teacher education and higher educational leadership. What I like to say, and I say this personally because I have worked both in public and private university realms, that we are a public university, but with a private university touch. And remember when I talked about us being that right-sized university. And what I mean by this is that you get public affordability and all the rigors that public universities have to go through for their accreditation. But as private universities are really good at providing student support and attention, and faculty or professors knowing their students' names and faces, we are that kind of institution as well. You'll never be lost as a large or as in a large group as and just be considered a number. You'll never have a lecture of 150 or 200 students. Our lectures are typically no larger than 30. And I think the largest I've ever seen in my particular college is at 45. But realistically, the average class size is more likely in the upper teens to the lower to mid 20s of students. So you will get a lot of attention and your professors will know who you are, and you will be at a comfortable level to develop a mentoring relationship where they help you work your way through this new academic culture in the United States. We're pretty affordable, and Christine will reaffirm this later on when she talks about the admissions process. But for those of you, if you wish to do a pre-admission English Language Institute program, which is English as a second language, that is the price, $4,210 per semester. At the undergraduate level, we are at $10,331, and graduate tuition will change depending on your program. But that's just a quick snapshot, and we can talk more about the finances towards that end with Q&A. As I mentioned, we are student-centered. So to reiterate, we are excellent in teaching. We have small classes. We have active research. A lot of our students apply and do applied research with their professors. And we're very well known in this field of experiential learning, which includes internships. And as international students, you can do internships, something called curricular practical training or optional practical training at the end of your degree program. We're nationally awarded for our study abroad programs. And yes, as international students, you're coming to the States as study abroad, but you can go abroad again, and we have lots of opportunities. And lots of our students also present at conferences. If you're in between, proficiency in English for academic purposes, but you still need a little more help at the English Language Institute, we actually have a special program that also allows you to take ESL courses alongside undergraduate or graduate degree seeking programs. Housing, we have plenty of it at the university. Here's an example of one of our freshman halls called Columbus Hall, which is on our main campus. We have two campuses, the one that you see here in the image, which is more of a suburban campus, not far from the city center, and then also another campus in the city center that is connected by 20-minute buses or shuttles that go back and forth free of charge. And it's exclusively for our Columbus State students, and students also live downtown. So you have some options there. Just some examples of what a residential hall, lobby, or lounge would look like. And here's some campus images where the Turner College of Business is located and indoor learning spaces that we have in our buildings. And an image of the business school and technology school here. And also another image of our downtown, or what we call River Park campus. And we also have large art galleries in the city center because of our arts program and other classes that are held there in more historic buildings. Our city center or downtown life is very, very active for our students. The downtown is loaded with restaurants and cafes and theaters and bars and other places that a lot of our students will frequent. And it's a very lively college town scene. So if you've ever learned or heard about the American college experience, you'll get it here in the city center as well as on our campus. And as I mentioned with our experiential learning and study abroad, again, my office, and I'm the director for study abroad, leads students all over the world. Here's an image with my students when we were at the EU Parliament not too long ago. And I actually had international students as well as domestic or American students in my program. And we were looking at European integration studies. The business school goes overseas as well. And this year they're going to Ireland. Next year they're going to Dubai to look at the different crossroads of globalization, business and commerce and technology. Columbus State also has its own campus site in Oxford, England. This is our building, the Spencer House, where students live. And any of our students, international or domestic, are eligible to study abroad at the Spencer House in either semester study programs in Oxford or with our own professors during the summer for short-term study opportunities. And we have a very active campus recreation life. We have recreation centers, rock climbing. We have collegiate sports. We have a nationally awarded and championship women's football team, or soccer team, as we say here in the States, as well as tennis teams. And just, again, more photos of campus fun. And we have a very active international student club as well. And they have a whole load of activities. And this is a really, really terrific peer group for you when you have other international students going through what you're going through, you know, cultural adaptation, homesickness, and just sort of the peer support saying, I've been there, I'll get you through this too. And by the way, we're going to have fun while we do it. And here's another example of our Hispanic Chispa group at an event. And it's at this point, as I've given you sort of this broad view of the university, that I would like to turn the presentation over, and I'll stop to share with Laurie Aiken from our Turner College. Laurie.
Thank you, Eric, very much. And welcome all of you to hearing more about Columbus State University, and especially the Turner College of Business and Technology here in Columbus, Georgia. I just want to say that we have 4 programs that we offer to our graduate students here. 2 of them are in computer science and 2 are in business. And I'm going to talk a little bit about more of those in just a minute, but I'm going to tell you a little bit of why I think Turner College of Business and Technology is such a special place for you to come and learn and get your graduate degree. Like Eric said, we're the 2nd largest city in Georgia. However, we have a smaller feel, which is super nice. We have several Fortune 100 and other 500 companies that were actually established right here in Columbus, Georgia, who need many people in computer science and everything you could think of in business, whether it's finance, accounting, economics, leadership. So these are global companies. One of them is Aflac, which I'm sure you've seen wherever you live because they're all over the world, their presence ends, but they sell insurance. And you've probably seen some of the duck commercials. I've seen them when I've been overseas. Another one is Global Payments, which is the world's largest credit card processing center. So they process about 70% of all credit card transactions and financial transactions around the world, and have a presence in India, in Europe, in Asia. I mean, there's places everywhere, because if you think about it, anybody who spends money at one point in their day is probably striking a credit card that is coming through Columbus, Georgia at some point or another. So these are companies that are constantly looking right here at CSU to fill the needs of their future leaders, their business people, their people who write their code, who oversee their cybersecurity. And they're in our School of Business on a weekly basis. We have chief information security officers. We have CEOs, chief executive officers, financial officers of companies that are in here getting to know our students weekly, literally, to find people who they can hire when they're finished with their degrees, or hire as interns, help them so they can send them back out into the world for their industry. So we have designed 4 programs that are pretty much specific to looking for people who need industry knowledge and very specific skills in computer science and in business. So I'm going to start with the 2 programs that we have in computer science. One of them is a Master of Science in Cybersecurity. As you all know, there's about 2 million positions around the world right now because cybersecurity has become a national issue for every company, every government, even every person as yourself who probably has a cell phone. Just protecting your finances, your identity. Well, we have a range that is here at CSU that is one of only 2 in Georgia, actually, and one of few in the U.S. that actually simulates a cyber attack on a government or a business. And our students who are getting their graduate degrees in cybersecurity, aside from learning, of course, policy and compliance and systems administration and risk management, are also able to have hands-on experience of being put into a range scenario where they are able to stop attacks that are happening. We bring them in, we train them how to professionally hack, ethically hack, and then we teach them how to stop hack attacks all over, for whether it's a financial attack, whether it's an oil line attack. We teach them how to find the bad guys and stop them. So that's something that's very specific to CSU, and we have great interaction with the local cybersecurity business field. They meet here every other week. Many people from the industry, they actually do scenarios on our range and mix and mingle with any of our computer science students who are interested, especially those who are interested in that cybersecurity. So those are some of the things that are very specific to our field that I would love for you to know. Of course, we do cloud security classes, digital forensics, AI, just according to which way you want to route your degree. There's many opportunities for you to do that. We are also one of only, I think, 200 schools around the world who actually is accredited through the National Security of Academic Excellence, which is through the National Security Agency of Homeland Security. So that's another benefit to us, that we have a very top accreditation to help with our computer science students. So when you leave here, after you get your graduate degree, you have that stamp on you, and they know that you've learned the things that you need to learn to be top standing when you get hired with industries. We also have a Master of Science in Applied Computer Science, which are things that a career would be like a software engineer, also a network and cloud manager, web applications, a data scientist. We teach AI and ML science and engineering and that, and also machine learning specialist. We have a top robotics program at CSU, and our computer science and our robotics program, which is the only robotics undergraduate and graduate degree in Georgia. Our professors mix back and forth between those two and will actually help you do both while you're here getting those degrees. So those are some of the 2 different degrees. But in the Master of Science in Cybersecurity, the actual specialties that you could go into is cyber defense, and then you can also go into cybersecurity management. Whether you have a computer science background is not needed for that cybersecurity degree. We will get you up to speed when you get here on the things that you need to know. But we have many students. I have actually 2 of my ambassadors right now. We love for our graduates to come in and be ambassadors for Turner College. One of them is from China and one of them is from Egypt. One of them actually has a law degree as his undergrad, and the other has an engineering degree. So according to what you're doing right now may not be what you want to get your graduate degree in. We will help you get to where you need to be so that you can study these topics. In the applied computer science, we have a lot of intelligence learning in that one. So cutting edge cloud and intelligence learning, fantastic professors from all over the world, and a decent amount of international students in our computer science area. The other 2 programs that we have are on the business side of CSU, and one of them is a Master of Business Administration, which is an MBA. The other is a Master of Science in Organizational Leadership. If you have a business degree, then you can choose either one. You can go straight into an MBA, which is going to put you at the top of your field, make you a better candidate for positions in industry, because you're moving from just the mechanics of the business degree to the actual leadership of a company, to opening companies, to helping large corporations look to the future and see what their company needs. And in that degree, some of the career opportunities are you can, work in government agencies if that's what you're interested, large corporations, nonprofits, small business. You can be in academia. Say you maybe want to go into the academia world and be a professor, marketing, and many other fields. When you're here, we want to make sure that regardless if you're getting a business degree or applied computer science, that you have opportunities for research, that you have opportunities for graduate assistantships, that you have opportunities to meet with industry leaders. So one of the other things that we do is we have mock interviews every semester here in Turner College of Business and Technology, where our computer science and our business students are able to meet with about 40 different representatives from different companies, whether it's, we have people like Google coming, we have government agencies coming, we have large industry coming, and small businesses. That gives you an opportunity to start talking to people about what you want to do next and getting those interviewing skills that you need to go forward. We also have career fairs every semester where about 50 industries come down from Atlanta, which is a huge business place in the States, from Columbus, and from many other areas. We do them online and in person, where you actually have the opportunity to start applying for co-ops, for internships, for future positions. And most of these companies have a presence all around the world. So regardless of where you want to go, although we would love to keep you in Columbus, we understand that that might not be the option. So you'll have opportunities worldwide. We really do believe that when we bring you here, we also want to launch you into your career. So from the time you step into the doors, that's what we're thinking. What is next for you? How are we going to help you get the job and the career that you're passionate about? And how do we connect you to people who can hire you for the future? So we spend a lot of time doing that here. We also spend a lot of time, if you're interested in research, giving you those opportunities to work with our professors and even have things published while you're still in school with us. The other degree that we have in business is a Master of Science in Organizational Leadership. And there's several different tracks with that degree. We have a leadership development track, we have a servant leadership track, and a human resource track, according to which way you want to go. They all have a certain core that you would take together, but you'll branch out the last few classes and go in a little bit deeper into one of those fields. The human resource track, of course, it's SHRM accredited, which is the National HR Management industry, but we also have the servant leadership track, which is Columbus was actually named as the first servant leadership city in the United States of America. We have a lot of business leaders and industry leaders who believe that we need to be providing for the better good of society. And so that servant leadership track is one that actually helps prepare you to be a leader in the future, whether it's in a company or a state government or a city, and thinking about the better good of the world. So we have that here, which is very specific to Columbus State University. That's usually only found in private universities. So you're getting that for a fraction of the cost by coming to CSU. And then we have a leadership development track, which is it's a very popular degree also with us, where we actually teach you how to be a leader in whatever industry you decide to go into. So those are 4 different degrees, and you may have some questions about different ones, but I will say that all of them, our classrooms are very manageable. We try not to put more than 20 people into our classrooms if possible. We want you to have a very close-knit relationship with the professors. They want to know you, and we want you to know them. We have many opportunities to mingle. We have opportunities for you to do things while you're here at Turner College to prepare you and to put on your resume for when you leave us and start into your career. I can't think of anything else specifically right now, but I'm definitely available for questions, and I'm happy to send way more information to anybody who sends me your email so I can.
Thank you, Laurie. That was really great, and it was really comprehensive. I appreciate your time on this presentation. I think maybe Dr. Finley is still with students, so we're going to move on to Christine Shaw. And Christine, do you want to share your screen in a second? Christine is, like I said, the manager of our international admissions process, but she is also by U.S. government standards, our lead immigration specialist who works with students on F1 and J1 visas. So Christine, I will turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Eric and Lori, for that great presentation. Again, I'm Christine. I am the International Student and Scholar Services Coordinator, which means that I process all incoming applications, documents, for new international students, and then also issue the visa document that you would need to get your visa, which is called the I-20. And then after you're here, we make sure that you get here safely, you attend orientation, and then I assist you after you arrive as well with any questions that you might have regarding immigration issues or anything else at that point. So I'm sharing my screen. Hopefully everyone can see that. I'm just going to go over quickly the basic admissions process that you would go through. So first of all, obviously, you would complete our online application. At the end of that, you pay the application fee, and undergraduate or graduate, that then routes it to our data entry department, and then it comes to me for further processing. Then you would start submitting your documents. So I've had some questions in the Q&A, which I've tried to answer. So I'm going to address some of this in my information here. So first of all, documents for admission are proof of English proficiency, which is required for me to issue the I-20 document. So if your native language is not English, then you do need to submit this proof of English proficiency, which is either a TOEFL exam with the minimum score of 69, an IELTS exam, our minimum score accepted is 6.0. I did have a question about Duolingo, which we do not accept, but we do accept many other types of exams. So that is on our website. For the TOEFL, there is actually a link that you can click on so that you can get a discount code to reduce the cost of that TOEFL exam. The next item we would need for admission purposes is a professional transcript evaluation of your foreign transcript. So either if you're an undergraduate student, you would have a foreign high school transcript. Graduate students, you would have university transcripts. But since those are need to be either translated and or evaluated to change that over, convert those to the U.S. system, those need to be submitted, like I said, as an evaluation. So you would go to an evaluation company, and we have those listed on our website. The approved companies that you can use, you would submit your transcript to the company, they would evaluate it and give us a US GPA, and then we would use that to review for your application into the program you've chosen. The next item is only official transcripts. That's only if you have attended a U.S. university. So that's when we would need official transcripts sent from a U.S. university to us. So for most of you, that probably won't apply. I just wanted to mention that. Deadlines for applications. So for this coming fall semester, that's an August start date. For fall, that's mid-August when that semester begins. The application deadline is the 1st of May, with all of your documents due by the 1st of June. The sooner the better, however. If you apply before the 1st of May and you submit all your documents before that time, the sooner that we can process them, get you admitted, and I can issue you the I-20, which you need to get your visa. So I wouldn't wait until the 1st of June or the 1st of May even to apply. Like I said, because that will give you more time once you're accepted for admission to be able to get a visa appointment, which in some countries is a little bit of a lengthy process. But we want to give you as much time as you can to be able to get that visa processed and to be able to get here early enough to start the semester. If you're thinking about starting for the spring semester, that's a January start date every year. And the application deadline for that is 1 October with documents by 1 November. Okay. So the next step then, once you're accepted for admission into your program, then you would need to submit documents to me to receive your I-20. So that would be, first of all, acceptance to the university. Then I will need a copy of a recent passport. You would fill out a CSU financial guarantee, which I'll go over in just a moment. That is where you would list all the individual sponsors where you would receive your funding, whoever is providing funding for you to attend university. You would list those individuals, and if you're getting any scholarships or graduate assistantships, you would list that here as well on the financial guarantee. Then to support that funding, to show proof of who has the funding to that is they are providing you, we would need bank statements and or bank letters for each individual that is listed on your financial guarantee. So it would be a checking account or a bank account, or excuse me, savings account statement that shows that those individuals have the money that you say that they have in order to support your studies. All right, so the program costs for 1 year. I know you're all interested in that. So I will just go over that really quickly. It includes tuition, fees, books, housing, living expenses, and the mandatory health insurance that you're required to have as an F1 international student for 1 academic year. So for fall and for spring, undergraduate costs are $34,400. That includes everything above, and I'll show you that on the financial guarantee broken down in just a moment. And for graduate students, it's a little bit less, $33,400. We do have a scholarship, which is the International Student Service Scholarship that you can apply for. Who is eligible for that? So undergraduate and graduate students on an F1 visa, you have to have a 3.0 US GPA or higher. So we would use your GPA from that evaluation that I previously mentioned. That would give us your GPA. You would have to maintain that throughout the time that you're here to continue to receive the scholarship every semester. And then what does that scholarship cover for you? So it waives out-of-state tuition. That means all international students pay out-of-state tuition, which is more than US domestic students pay. That waives the out-of-state and reduces it to the in-state tuition amount. So you only pay the in-state tuition. That's a savings of about $3,000 to $4,000 per semester. So a significant savings for you there. And how do you apply for the scholarship? Well, once you've applied to the university, been accepted, then you're eligible to apply. And we have a website where you can go and there's the application and it gives you more information about the scholarship that is available. I'm going to go real quickly to the financial guarantee. So that's what this will look like. You will fill in your information here. Then here is the cost breakdown I was mentioning to you. So for undergraduate programs, the total cost, and for graduate programs, the total cost. So here's the breakdown. So tuition and fees, and again, this is for 1 academic year, okay? And it would be tuition and fees, your books, your housing, living, and insurance costs. Many students ask, well, what about housing? Do I have to pay for housing if I'm living off campus? So freshman students are required to live on campus for their first year. After that, it's optional, but many of our students decide to stay on campus. If you're a graduate student, for example, and you live off campus, you do still have to show that you have the funds to pay for housing and meals. That's a visa regulation, so I can issue the I-20, because since you're a student and you're on a student visa, you're not allowed to work off campus and make money. So that's why you have to show that you do have money in advance and available to pay for costs, including housing and meals. All right, and I'm just going to go back to my previous document. And we had some questions from the group that I addressed in the Q&A, but I want to go over that real quickly. Again, housing, I had some questions about housing. Do we assist you in obtaining housing? So yes, we have on-campus housing. There's a link that you would get from me that shows you how to apply for on-campus housing. We also have some options we can send you for off-campus housing if you're not a freshman. And so if you're a sophomore, junior, or senior, or if you're a graduate student, and we have a lot of housing available, apartments, complexes around the university that are within walking distance. So we have some good options there. I had a question about what is the cost of living in Columbus? Is it expensive to live here? How is that? So I think Eric address that somewhat, but our cost of living is fairly reasonable here for students to be able to afford. And I had a question in connection with that about working on campus, or working actually. So again, as I said, as a student on an F1 visa, you're not allowed to work off campus. You can work part-time on campus, and we have many positions available for that you can apply for. And also we had a question about what can you do, interaction, events, activities. We have a lot of student groups on campus that you can look on our website and see what is available, including an international club and many other options as well. So I know that was kind of quick, a little bit fast there, but I wanted to cover everything. Feel free to contact us after this with some information if you want to get some details about information that I gave you. And I'm going to check the Q&A for additional questions that might have come in, and I'll respond to those as well. So thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Christine. Yeah, we are now at the end of the presentation. It is approximately, we're finishing up just a few minutes early, so we have plenty of time. Oh, I see that Dr. Finley has popped into the meeting. So let me pop it over to Dr. Finley. You can stop sharing your screen, Christine, for a sec. Thank you. Dr. Finley, welcome. We've just gone through, the admissions process, and Laurie Aiken gave us an overview of technology and business programs. Would you like to speak as a professor of business, what the business classroom environment is like? I think our student participants would like to know that.
Yes, so it's fresh on my mind because the reason for my tardiness is because I am just coming out of class. So therein lies our dedication to students in the classroom. And I guess I'm sort of trying to be funny, but also speaking truth, that we are student-centered. And so the life in the classroom, for example, the class that I just had was Excel, Microsoft Excel. There is a great deal of engagement, a great deal of question and answer in class, a great deal of faculty working with students. We try to incorporate as much as possible experiential learning under the umbrella of high impact practices. And so like in my class, we also try to incorporate as much as possible interdisciplinary studies. So in my class, I teach international business as well, but I'm incorporating some international business concepts in my Excel class. So I'll assign the students a country, and then so we work with currencies and things like that. But in general, on the different levels, from freshman to senior level, and then also beyond in graduate level, other instances of engagement between faculty and students is maybe research projects. In some cases that are directly related to what is graded in the classroom, or in other cases, maybe it's a paper that was completed or a research project that was completed that maybe the professor would work with the student or group of students to try to take that a step further, maybe to get it presented at an academic conference, or maybe even published. And so, and let me understand: is there opportunity for internships in this situation? My notion is maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah, from an immigration point of view, their visa will let them do curricular practical training internships.
Okay, okay, very good. Because that's something else we try to support and promote. As much experiential learning as possible. And let's see,
Can I ask you a question?
Please.
Within your classes, as you were just talking about the different things you do, is your class more lecture, or is it more project-based and seminar-based?
Yeah, it's more project-based. So there'll be a sequence of assessments or assignments where some are a little lower stakes than others. There is a decent amount of building up of building and progression in the subject matter and the acquisition of that. And so we do, in like sophomore and junior levels, we will have a lot of the courses do have comprehensive final exams, so that the projects, the quizzes, and or presentations or papers would, for the most part, contribute to what would be either a final project or a final exam. Yeah, the lecture where the instructor or the professor simply speaks and the students receive that information is less common now. It's a little bit more interactive, and so that's why, I guess my kind of constant use of the word engagement. I say I ask a lot of questions in class, and if I pose a question, I don't necessarily expect everyone to answer all the time, but if the student hears that question, hopefully they think, maybe he's asking me, or oh, okay, well, yeah, that is of course a valid question. Let me contemplate what I would say, if I were answering right now, or if I'm answering later on a test or a quiz. So a little less on the lecture side and more on the engagement side. And so, I mean, related to that, if folks need extra help after or outside of class hours, there are what used to be called student hours, office hours, but we try to call them student hours now to imply that they're for the students. Those extra hours are for the students to use.
Thank you. And that's what I wanted you to talk about, because I really want all of our students, and we have 19 or 20 students from around the world, from India to Brazil and in between,
Okay.
listening to this, that when you come to Columbus State and you're in the classroom, you're not sitting in a passive learning environment where a professor is just lecturing and lecturing. You are highly engaged in project-based learning, which is hands-on learning with concepts and material that involves conversation and discussion, but also your own input and creativity. And that makes you a much stronger candidate when you want to continue on to either a graduate degree program or get a job. So I really wanted to really emphasize that, and I appreciate that, Dr. Finley.
Certainly, yeah. I mean, I think it makes for a more meaningful learning experience for everyone, and deeper as well, where it's one that you don't simply learn enough to pass tests within that class, but hopefully you take that with you somehow or another and can apply it either in other classes or jobs you get, employment you get, or your own life even.
Right, and I'm actually teaching after this session this afternoon. I'm a geography professor, so we're doing an introductory course with first-year students, and my students do not just sit and listen to lectures. They're going to get their hands around the difficult issue of human migration from sub-Saharan Africa to Europe and from Central America to the United States today. So it's very project-based, and I think a lot of us at the university like that approach in teaching and learning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Other questions? I'm going to look here in the chat. I think we're at that time, Carolina, right, for questions, correct?
Yeah, hello again.
Hi.
I've seen that you already answered to so many questions, and this is a good side of the webinar, of course. I see that one of our students is asking if he would have to pay 34,400 to participate if he or she is an undergraduate student. I don't know if you already have an answer, maybe a live answer, so that everyone can hear it.
Yeah, we can answer that live.
Yeah.
Christine, are you still typing, or do you want to answer it?
Oh, I'm good. I just saw that question, so I stopped typing. So yeah, so the 34,400, that's for the entire year. So you must show that you have that amount available in a bank account or a combination of bank accounts. And then what you would pay is each semester you would pay. So for one semester, you would take half of that, basically, what you would be charged. Housing and meals, again, it just depends. If you're a freshman, then yes, you would be charged housing and meals on your student account, and you would pay that through your student account. So it would only be half of that per semester or less, just depending on how many classes you're taking and different things like that. So hopefully that answers the question.
And I see also we have a question from Marco Andrade. So Marco, as I'm reading your question, and I look forward to your, pode mandar o email para mim. I'm looking forward to your email, but we don't have a PhD program in cybersecurity. I think that's what you were asking about, but we have a very strong master's program that will catapult you to the next doctoral level if that's what you're interested in. But please email me and I will answer all your questions. You can do it in Portuguese or English. That's fine.
Yeah, of course. And I also see that one of our students is asking if they have to do a thesis at the end of the course. I
Oh,
think
is it
it's cybersecurity master.
for the master's program?
Yeah, I think so.
I know they have a final class, as we do in every undergraduate and graduate degree, where it's a culmination of what they've learned. And it's just like what Eric is talking about. It's where the students put everything they've learned together and do a major project with other people. And so it's not a thesis based, but I do know that they have a major group project at the end. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mhm.
So I don't think we have any more questions. Of course, we will send you an email with the contacts of Columbus State University at the end of this webinar, so that if you have any more questions or doubts, you can contact directly the university and receive all the information you need. I would like to thank again our panelists for being here with us today, and also all of you connected today. And before we say goodbye, maybe I'd like to ask our panelists if they would like to leave our participants with a message.
Well, my message is, as a professor, but also as an administrator, that at Columbus State University, we have what we call in English an open door policy, which means we're always open to talk to you, to answer your emails. So any of us on this screen that you're looking at, feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to talk to you. It's the best part of our jobs is to engage and talk to students. That's why we're here. So don't be shy. Do reach out to us if you have questions or you need something repeated, or you're not sure about finance questions or whatever. We're here to help you with that.
I'd like to say I spent most of my time talking about graduate programs because I thought that was what everyone on the line. So I just want to say something to everyone under there who's going to be entering as a freshman or wants to transfer as a sophomore or junior or senior. You are going to be immersed with people from all over the world here, especially in Turner College of Business. We have a decent amount of international students and also a lot of students who are from right here in America. And you're going to have the opportunity to do lots of hands-on learning, whether you're choosing business or computer science. And you can come in and not declare, I want to be a specific person in business, like I know I want to do finance or accounting. Our professors are going to help you figure that out. You can come in and start taking courses, get an overview of everything, and then you'll find your passions along the way. And they really help you figure out that path for yourself. They'll direct you and say, hey, you're doing phenomenal in this one area, and it just seems to be supernatural to you. And they're going to help guide you. So you start big, and then you narrow in with the help of people who care about you and are going to know your name while you're here on the campus. Same way in computer science. So I think that sometimes freshmen are like, especially you're coming across the world and we want you to, but you're thinking, I have to know everything in the beginning. And that's so not true. You find those things out when you get to college, and you may come in very committed to a specific degree and then decide to be different, go a completely different route. And we want to help you with that. We have great training to help you with that. Our professors are going to be invested. Many people around campus, just like Eric and Christine said, there's so many opportunities to mix and mingle with others on CSU's campus. So we're excited to see you here in the future.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks to our panelists for being here with us today. And also thanks to everyone connected here. I'd like to remind you that for everyone interested in receiving a certificate of attendance by Doxity, that you can click on the link that I'm sending in the chat right now and request it. And of course, I hope to see you again in the next webinar organized by Doxity. So I would like to greet you a very nice evening, a very nice rest of the day. Thanks for being with us today, and have a nice day. Thank you.
Carolina, thank you for your
you.
support today too.
Thank you, Carolina.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Thank you so
everyone.
much.